Spreading all around my room, my world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the World of Juice channel, and welcome back to another Madden 25 rebuild video. Today, we're going to do something similar to what we did with Tim Tebow in the 2012 Broncos, but today it is the 2002-2003 San Diego Chargers. Now, this team is interesting for multiple reasons. One, they have a very young and very, very talented LaDainian Tomlinson. So I'm excited to get to simulate with him and see just how awesome he can be. But the main reason that we're tackling this era of Chargers football is because they have a young man named Drew Brees. Drew Brees, many people might not remember he was even on the Chargers because of what he did with the Saints. Everybody probably just associates him with the Saints, and you should, because he was like an MVP. He won a Super Bowl. He was what became one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time on the Saints. So obviously you would associate him with New Orleans. But he started his career here. He had a fine career. It was nothing special for the few years he was here. And then he had some shoulder/arm problems, and the Chargers were kind of hesitant to move along with him as their franchise guy. They end up drafting Phillip Rivers, obviously, and Drew Brees kind of just got pushed aside because they weren't sure if he was going to be healthy. They weren't sure if his injuries were going to halter his career or keep him from becoming what he eventually would become. So there was this whole idea that around like the 2005, 2006 seasons, they were going to have Drew Brees go to the Dolphins along with Nick Saban, who was going to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. They were going to be like a dynamic duo, head coach and quarterback, like Brady and Belichick, or Mahomes and Andy Reid, or Peyton Manning and Tony Dungy. I don't know who the heck Mike Dungy is. Tony Dungy. So that was the idea, but that ended up never happening because I think the Dolphins were too scared of his injury. So they just kind of backed out of it. I think they ended up with Dante Culpepper, if I'm not mistaken, as their quarterback for that year or for the couple years. But Drew Brees ends up not going to Miami, and then he ends up in New Orleans, where obviously we know what happened. So in this alternate universe, we are going to keep Drew Brees in San Diego the entire time. He's not going to have any injuries. He's not going to have any questions about is he going to be hurt, or what's he gonna turn into? Nothing like that. He's gonna be the starting quarterback for the San Diego Chargers. He's gonna hand the ball off to LaDainian Tomlinson. He's gonna throw the football to a bunch of young receivers that we draft in a few years. He's gonna have a great offensive line, a great defense, and we're gonna hold a Super Bowl trophy above his head at the end of this rebuild. So if you go and enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any suggestions for other future rebuilds you want to see, whether it's in this era, 2002, 2012, 2018, modern day. I think I even have a 2021 roster. Like, I have a bunch of different options for you guys to choose from. So if there's specific teams you want to see in that era, in a certain era, or specific players you want to see in a certain era, let me know down below in the comments and we can take a challenge in the future. But today's challenge, Drew Brees and the San Diego Chargers. Let's go get it. Hit that like button. Let's do this thing. This is what we are working with. In the year 2002, 2003, we have LaDainian Tomlinson, we have Drew Brees, but there's not a whole lot else on this offense. And really on this team in general. We'll get to the defense in a second, but we've got two rookie offensive linemen, which could be nice. Maybe they'll develop into something, who knows. But this is the man that we are focusing on today. It is Drew Brees. He's got a player model in the game, so that's nice to have. But this is the man we're focusing on. He's 23. He's in his second year out of Purdue. And he is a normal dev quarterback with really good starting accuracies and starting throw power. But hopefully he can take that to the next level as long as he can get those dev trade upgrades that we are very desperate need of. But then we've got this man right here next to him, LaDainian Tomlinson, LT. I mean, he's just a freak. He's one of the best running backs I've ever personally watched. So he is just I mean, he's just so good. He's a freak, a stud, an anomaly. He's unbelievable. And then we've got an offensive line that is made up of a bunch of guys with no picture, the shadow guys. And then we've got the two rookies. We got no tight end. We've got no wide receivers. This first year is going to be a little bit of a struggle, but that's good. We should have a little bit of struggle so we can get a good draft pick. We've got Junior Seau, which I don't think is going to have a player portrait. No, he doesn't. He's 33. He's a veteran. I think he already played with the Patriots. When did he get to New England? Was it after this? I think, yeah, I think he retires with New England. Maybe. I can't remember exactly when he played in New England. I know he played in New England at some point. And he might have also played in Miami for a year? Why do I have a memory that he played in Miami? Maybe that's just false. Maybe that's one of the rebuilds that he ended up in Miami and I just forgot, or I'm mixing them together. But Junior Seau, very old, still going to be good for at least a couple of years. And then we've got young rookie Quentin Jammer. Very excited about him. The young talent on this team, we don't have a lot of it, but the talent that we do have is going to be very, very useful and very, very helpful in the long term because they're going to develop really quickly and very well, like LaDainian Tomlinson, like Quentin Jammer, who's 23, and a rookie with hidden dev. I'm assuming it's only going to be star, but you never know. But then we've got some other veterans. We've got Rodney Harrison. We've got Junior Seau, like I mentioned earlier. And then there's not really a lot else of redeeming qualities on this Charger team. And I've already loaded in the 2003 draft class. I'm not going to go too in depth on it because by now you should know who's in this class. I've done plenty of rebuilds on it in past videos, so you know who's in this class. We're not going to take too much to worry about it. We don't need a quarterback, so Carson Palmer off the table for us, but we do need a wide receiver, so Andre Johnson most certainly on the table. Same thing with Terrell Suggs at defensive end or at linebacker, I guess. Is there anybody that I could trade for another first round pick? Probably not, because I'm not trading LaDainian Tomlinson, obviously. I'm not trading Drew Brees. I'm not trading Quentin Jammer. Those are probably the only guys that would warrant a first round pick. I mean, maybe Junior Seau gets us a first round pick. I doubt it though. Yeah, he's not really valued at first round pick territory. He's valued at second round pick territory. We probably could get a first round pick if we finessed ourselves, like if we did it ourselves. But Darren Sharp. But other than that, he's not going to get a first round pick just given to us. So Junior Seau, I don't know if I want to trade him. Rodney Harrison, I would be willing to trade, I think. But he's not even going to be worth a third, I don't think. He's 29, got no dev trait, and he's 80 overall. He's got really no redeeming qualities. That's going to be a little bit tricky to try to say we want to trade him. What about, excuse me, Ryan McNeil? Not even a team considering trading for him. So it looks like we're going to have to just go with our original allotment of picks, which is a first, a second, a third, a four, a five, a six, and two sevens. So that'll be good. I'm assuming we're going to have a bad season, although I don't know. Maybe LaDainian Tomlinson will carry us to more wins than we probably should have. The really only important thing is how Drew Brees is going to develop in this first season. He's got like nobody to throw to. The only thing he can do is hand it off to LaDainian Tomlinson. So his development is going to take a little bit of a hit. We are in Charger playbooks, both on offense and defense. I didn't change those yet. I might end up changing them in the future. I don't know, but we'll have to see. Once we get the good team around Drew Brees, we'll see if those Charger playbooks can carry us to a Super Bowl. But we're going to simulate year number one, find out how good Drew Brees' development is. I'm hoping the ideal combination is we lose a bunch of games, but Drew Brees develops well. That's the combination that we need to have. Will it happen? I guess the only way to know is to find out and simulate. So let's go and do that right now. Year one is in the books, and for some reason, we won 9 games this year. Now, obviously, you can see we're in the wild card round. We didn't make the playoffs, which means we were in no man's land, which is never where you want to be in a rebuild. 9 wins. The roster that we have they should not even sniff 9 wins, and yet somehow, some way, we did. Maybe this Charger playbook is better than I gave it credit for. And Drew Brees, these numbers aren't even that good. Like 3,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. How did we win all these games that we were winning? The touchdown to interception ratio is not fantastic at all. Like these are backup quarterback numbers, if I'm being honest. LaDainian Tomlinson, I guess it was just him. 16 touchdowns. That's how we were winning football games. 1,200 yards and 16 touchdowns, 4.2 per carry. I guess LaDainian Tomlinson did what I said he was probably going to do in the beginning of the video, and he said he's going to carry us to a bunch of wins. He did just that. He literally just said, I'm going to get us wins, and he did. Because the rest of this team is just like, there's nothing here. 114 tackles from Donnie Edwards. Junior Seau had 74, which is the next highest. 72 for Quentin Jammer. I mean, there's nothing here. Marcellus Wiley had a decent season with 14 tackles for loss. Seau had 8. He also had 9 sacks, led the team, and then Wiley had 6.5. Leber had 4 sacks as well. Interception numbers: Rodney Harrison had 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I honestly don't know how we got to this point. I'm very shocked that this team won 9 games. Now, maybe that's going to be good in the long term because we could get some good dev trade upgrades. I don't think we're going to get anything from Drew Brees. I'd be highly, highly shocked if we got a star dev from Drew Brees with the numbers he put up, and he doesn't have anything. But Tomlinson got to X Factor, which is awesome. We revealed Fonoti having superstar, and Ball has star on the offensive line, so that's a nice improvement. And then on the defense, we get Quentin Jammer to have superstar. Marcellus Wiley goes up to star, and Ronnie Harrison for some reason goes up to star, and Molden. So we get some good dev trade upgrades on defense, but we don't get a lot of stuff on offense, which is what I wanted to have happen, except for LaDainian Tomlinson. I knew Drew Brees, with the season he had, he wasn't going to do anything, but very weird. Very, very weird that we had the season that we had in terms of wins when we don't have a good team. Like, I didn't make any moves. I didn't trade anybody. I didn't sign anybody. This is just a regular Charger roster with the regular Charger, current day Charger playbooks, and we win 9 games, miss out on the play too. If we would have not won 9 games and made the playoffs, I would have been okay. But missing out on the playoffs with 9 wins is not anywhere you want to be. So that's frustrating. Eagles win the Super Bowl. It's Ed McCaffrey, obviously father to Christian and Luke. Donovan McNabb is your league MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. Julius Peppers wins Defensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year. And then Deion Branch. Cool for Deion Branch. You don't ever see that really in these rebuilds. Deion Branch winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Good for him. Let's get to the re-sign period because I have no idea what's going to happen in this re-sign period. Are we going to have a bunch of guys that need to re-sign? We have 7, it looks like. Rodney Harrison, Sammy Williams, Von Parker. Okay, so it's just Rodney Harrison. It's just Big Rod. I'm gonna bring him back because he did go up to star, and we don't have a plan at strong safety without him unless we draft Troy Polamalu, I guess, who's in this class. But that's not really where I'm thinking. I'm thinking Anquan Bolden is who I'm thinking. We bring back Rodney Harrison. We still have 165 million. I'm gonna let everybody else go. We don't need a 73 right tackle. We can find somebody better. At least I hope. We'll get to free agency, and if I remember correctly, free agency in the early years of these rebuilds are not great. We've got Ron Stone. I think I just took him in. Was it the Bronco rebuild that I took him? No, it was something else. I can't remember exactly, but I had him recently. Wayne Gandy. I mean, I could take Wayne Gandy and replace the guy that we just let go, who was right tackle. I might do that. He wants to be here. Let's go for Wayne Gandy. Give him a 2-year contract, 6 mil, 6.5 mil. A little bit expensive, but we got to battle the Cardinals for him. We don't need a center because we have Ball, so we don't need Jeff Saturday. Mike McKenzie might be a nice little cornerback. He's 27. He's 78 overall. He wants to be a Charger. Pair him alongside Quentin Jammer. That could be nice. Are we ahead of everybody? Ooh, we're battling with the Saints. I don't know if he's going to choose us or not. I might go Dre Bly if I can't get the other guy. Let's offer him that. Maybe we'll get both of them. I don't know, but those are probably going to be the 3 guys that I offer. Will Mike McKenzie choose us? He does. So we end up getting 2 corners. That's fine. I mean, Dre Bly is a good player. But McKenzie was the guy that I absolutely wanted. So now Wayne Gandy will play one of the tackle spots, which one ever, it doesn't really matter. He'll play left tackle, looks like. And then we go to the defense side, and we add 2 corners. So the cornerback room's starting to look a little bit better now. It's got Jammer, it's got McKenzie, it's got the Molden dude who got started, and it's got Dre Bly. Need to work on linebacker, absolutely. And work on defensive line a little bit, but It's early. It's still only your one off season, so we'll move on to. Actually, you know what? Let's go to free agency and see if there's a middle linebacker that I could bring in, so that we don't have a 50 something overall guy playing middle linebacker for us next year. We've got Randall Godfrey, Levon Kirkland. I mean, to be fair, I'd rather have a rookie probably. There's not really a lot that I want here, so I'm just gonna leave it. We'll leave it with what we have, and then maybe draft somebody. Who knows? Let's get to the draft. We're not going to have that good of a pick, unfortunately, because we won too many games and didn't make the playoffs. We're probably going to have something around the middle teens, I would guess, maybe high teens, like 17, 18, something like that, I would guess. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to take a look at the mock draft and find out for guarantee what we have, but I used my national focus on defensive tackle, and then I used my three early scouts to do Andre Johnson, and then I did Peanut Tillman and where's he at down here? Anquan Bolton. So those are the all the scouting that I've done so far. We do need another middle linebacker, like I mentioned. EJ Henderson and Nick Barnett are probably the only two that I would go after. No disrespect to Mitchell, but I just don't think he's going to develop that well. So I could use two of them or two on those two guys. And then Lance Briggs, we know Lance Briggs is a stud. We've gotten him plenty of times before. We don't necessarily need a corner as bad as we may have before free agency because we signed two of them. So corner, we can kind of cool off a little bit. Free safety we could use. Absolutely. What about Eugene Wilson? I think I will use my third one on Eugene Wilson. And we'll see how good those guys end up being. So let's advance to the actual draft. Take a look at mock draft number 5 and see not only where we're picking, but who they have us mocked to take. So number 5, Palmer number 1 to the Panthers. Then you got Andre Johnson to the Texans. Terrell Suggs top 10. Okay, Browns, Cardinals, Peanut Tillman. Okay, so we're at 16. So I was close. I said like 17, 18. We end up having 16, which means we could either trade up for somebody around this area, or we could just stay at 16 and take somebody that's projected to go behind us, which there are some good players down here. Obviously, Troy Polamalu, Nnamdi Asomugha. There's Anquan Bolden, the final pick of the first round. Or we could stay and take EJ Henderson, who's only a couple picks away. We need another middle linebacker. I've never taken EJ Henderson in any of these rebuilds. Maybe this is the time we take him. I don't know. I guess let's start the draft and find out. Here we go. Starting the draft. And it should be Palmer first, and it is. Carson Palmer heads to Carolina. They got their franchise quarterback. We simulate to our pick. It looks like everything has gone pretty much exactly how the board said it was going to go. The mock draft said it was going to go. And here we are. We've got EJ Henderson available. We've got Nick Barnett available. We don't need a running back, obviously. But Troy Polamalu's here. Now we have Rodney Harrison, but he's in his 30s. He did just get a star dev upgrade. But Troy Polamalu we know is going to be unbelievable. And Anquan Bolton is also on the table. But he is projected to go the final pick of the first round. So maybe that'd be a little bit of a reach. I think I'm leaning towards EJ Henderson. He doesn't have very good speed or acceleration, but he's got really decent stats. Block shed's an A, so is play rec and hit power. He's not going to rush the passer very well, at least not finessing. I think I'm going to take EJ Henderson. I've never gotten him in one of these rebuilds, so I don't know how he develops. He's number 27 in true value. He's got a hidden dev. He can at least take that spot, even if he's a low overall. He'll take the spot of the guy that we have there already, which is like a 50-something overall. Lance Briggs goes the pick right above us. And now we sit with a second-round pick and no plan. We've got Bethel Johnson. There's no wide receiver here. David Tyree, Brandon Lloyd. I don't really want either of those guys. Jason Witten at tight end I might need to go for. Although I think I just got him recently. I'll go Antonio Gates. I think I just got Jason Witten recently. Let's see. Who's available? There's David Dahl, but we go after him all the time. Defensive end, I don't like anybody here right now. Robert Mathis is a pick. Possibly. We do need a D tackle, but it looks like all the D tackles might not be available. All right, we'll keep D tackle for maybe the third round. We got our middle linebacker. Asante Samuel's still there at corner. We know how good he can be. Free safety. Both of the free safeties that I scouted are gone, which is not a surprise. Donnie Nicky's available. I don't know where to go with this second round pick. I do not know where to go with this second round pick. I'm not going to take a wide receiver. I'm not going to take offensive line, I don't think. I could take Corey Redding. He might be a bad, or it might not be a bad idea. Or I just take Robert Mathis. Let's just take Robert Mathis. We know that Robert Mathis will develop well. I think I got him in one of my recent videos, so we know that he's going to develop fairly well. We'll take him and then hopefully come back and get one of the D tackles that's available in the third round. So let's do that. Okay, make the selection. What do we got? D tackle, please be good. Please be good. We've got Franklin and Dan Klecko, so two guys that I was thinking about getting. Now, Albreo Franklin, I think is how you would say that. He's got a round 1 and 2 grade on him. He doesn't look amazing, but with a round 1 and 2 grade, how can you pass that up? Especially in the third round. You got Dan Klecko. Ooh, Dan. Ooh, the skills are there. At least the physicals are there. Dan Klecko, baby. He looks impressive. I think I'm gonna take Dan Klecko. I mean, I can't pass up those physicals. He looked really good. He's 106 in true value. He's got normal dev, but I mean those physicals were out of control. Can't pass that up. Next pick is the fourth round. This is probably gonna be my final pick if I even make a pick here. First off, did Franklin get taken? He did. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I might double up. You never know. What is the final pick of this draft going to be for us that we make ourselves? So it looks like what's his face got taken? Sante Samuel. We'll come back and we'll get Antonio Gates. That'll be my fourth round pick. We need a tight end. He gets drafted by the Chargers anyway. So boom. We give Drew Brees at least one weapon. We didn't get him a wide receiver, but we get him a tight end. So we'll take that. And we will, nope, we'll simulate out of the draft. I thought I already pressed it, but I must have missed it. It was an okay draft. We didn't really hit any draft pick out of the park. These guys are all fine. But that's kind of what happens with a 2003 draft when you're drafting like middle round. You're not really going to hit anybody out of the park. You got EJ Henderson at 71. That's at least better than the middle linebacker 2 that we have right now. Mathis is 71, Klecka's is 65, Gates is 68, and then they took a bunch of scrubs. So it's a fine draft. It's nothing special. Palomalu is the best player in the class. We knew that already. Nothing special, but I'm not mad at it. We're slowly building this team up. Gates is going to develop very well. Mathis will probably develop a little bit well because he's got a little bit as well because he's got Marcellus Wiley who had a really good season last year. Okay, so offensive line starting to look a little bit better now with the addition of Gandy. Still don't have any wide receivers for Drew Brees to throw to, but he's got LaDainian Tomlinson. You don't need anybody else. And then the defense, we got EJ Henderson playing, we got Mathis playing. Defense is coming together a lot quicker than the offense is, which is kind of weird. I thought usually I do the offense quicker than the defense, but the offense is taking a little bit of time. So now we simulate the 2003-2004 season. That is obviously Eli Manning, not Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, and Phillip Rivers, who Chargers end up taking in real life. Hopefully there's a lot of good wide receivers in that class. I don't think there is. There might be a couple. I don't remember exactly, but we need. Oh, Larry Fitzgerald's in that class. We will simulate the season, I think, right? Or is Larry in the next one? I don't remember. Who cares? We'll simulate the season, see how Drew Brees does in year number 2, along with these new additions, and maybe make the playoffs. I mean, 9 wins and missing the playoffs is tough. I can't even predict what we're gonna do because I have no idea. I didn't think we were gonna win 9 games. So let's find out what happens. Year 2 is done, and 13 wins. 13. How is this team winning games? I swear to you, I'm not doing anything to this schedule. I'm not forcing wins. I'm not doing anything. This is just like look at this. Force wins, none. I'm not helping this team at all. We're just winning games somehow. The combination of LaDainian Tomlinson and this Charger offensive playbook, I don't know what's happening. What is this? Drew Brees had four or like what was it? Was it 24 touchdowns or was it 14 touchdowns? I don't remember what he had. He had a combination of either 14 touchdowns or 24 touchdowns, and now he has 40. What happened? How did we play so well? We don't have a very good team this year. Like we're still at least 2 years away from a championship. How is this team? How is Drew Brees playing this well? I know why LaDainian Tomlinson because he's God. He's literally baby Jesus grown up into a god. But he's the only guy. Like how is this team doing so well? We don't have any receivers except for Antonio Gates, who had a really good season. I don't understand. 15 touchdowns for Curtis Conway? What are we doing here? Who is this team? I've never seen a team this bad play so well for 2 seasons. EJ Henderson led the team in tackles as a rookie, which is a good sign. Donnie Edwards had a good year. Junior Seau had 18 sacks. What are we doing? These Charger playbooks are out of control. You've got a man who's like 35 at this point, something like that, and he's got 18 sacks. Ryan McNeil did well. Dre Bly did okay. Tackle for loss leader was Marcellus Wiley. I could very well see him go up to superstar at this point. Lieber had a good season. 12 tackles for loss, 10.5 sacks. EJ Henderson had 10 tackles for loss. Sack leader was Seau with 18, then Lieber, then Wiley with 7. Mathis had a fine season with 5 sacks. Interception was Quentin Jammer with 5. Are you serious? These playbooks are out of control. We might have found a new OP playbook. I know it's late in the Madden cycle, but we might have found ourselves a new OG or OP, not OG, OP playbook. This is getting crazy, the amount of stats we're seeing here. We do lose in the first round, which is typical Madden simulation. We lose in the wild card round. But I don't know why we played so well. We won 9 games with nobody on this roster in year one, and we win 13 games to make the playoffs with barely anybody on the roster. What a strange simulation. This is one of the weirder rebuilds I've done. Usually in year number 2, we sometimes make the playoffs, sometimes not, depending on what I do with like trading people or whatever. But I haven't done anything except for sign a couple free agents and draft some guys, and it wasn't even that good of a draft, and yet we win 13 games, make the playoffs, lose in the first round, which is not surprising. I honestly didn't expect us to go further than just the wild card, but absolute insanity has occurred here in San Diego. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. Season recap. We've got ourselves the Eagles going back to back. This time, Turdell Sands is the Super Bowl MVP. Peyton Manning is the MVP of the league. Marvin Harrison, Offensive Player of the Year. Jason Taylor, Defensive Player of the Year. Kevin Curtis and Kawika Mitchell, who I passed on as a linebacker. I apologize. That's my bad, Mitchell. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year. But I like EJ Henderson. He had a good season. I mean, he led the team in tackles. Let me just take a look at this roster now. Antonio Gates has X Factor. Drew Brees is now a star dev quarterback, which is huge. LaDainian Thomas is a true 99. How is this team winning games? Henderson's got star dev. Lieber's got star dev. Mathis has superstar. Quentin Jammer's got superstar. I think he already had superstar. What is happening with this roster? This is such a weird team. Like, they're not that good. They're not horrible anymore, but they're not 13 wins. At least I didn't think. I mean, look at his offense. His offense is not that good. Oh, weird. Very, very weird. Let's get to re-sign period and free agency. We have a lot of money still, so we should be able to bring back everybody that I want to bring back, if there is anybody. Damian McIntosh, 81 overall left tackle, and then nobody else. Interesting. 81 overall left tackle. He's not that expensive. I'll give him a little bit of a contract. And he's going to come back. 3-year deal. Nothing too crazy. Wait. Was that T. Martin? Tennessee quarterback T. Martin? Wow. Maybe we'll do a video on T. Martin. He was in the Brady draft. He was one of the many quarterbacks picked ahead of Brady. Maybe we'll do a video on him. Rebuilding his career or something like that. That could be pretty fun. I forget who took him. but he was in that Brady draft. So let's get to free agency and see what's got going on. Is there anybody here that can help this team out? So we got Larry Allen, but we don't really need a guard. We probably need a tackle more than we need a guard. You got Troy Vincent, you got Travis Claridge, who's 26, but normal dev. You've got Ian Gold. Ian Gold's interesting, but we don't really need an outside linebacker, do we? Unless we want to replace what's his face? Who are we replacing? Junior Seau, that's who it is. There's Plaxico. I might sign Plaxico. Plaxico's got nobody here. We need to get a legit guy for Brees to throw to. So Plaxico's probably got to be the only guy that we're going to sign because I don't think I'm going to spend any money elsewhere. So Plaxico signs with us. We at least have a wide receiver for him to throw to other than Antonio Gates, who's a tight end. Plaxico enters as the number one player on this roster now, or this wide receiver room. So at least he's got a guy now. Just don't shoot yourself in the foot, big dog. Let's go to the draft. Because now that we made the playoffs, we're going to have a pick that's even higher than 16, which is, I'm probably going to say like 20, 19 or 20 is probably the projection I'm going to give for where our first round pick is going to be this year. So it means no Larry Fitzgerald this year, unless we trade up. I guess we could always trade up to get him. No Sean Taylor, unfortunately. I might go for Bob Sanders this year. Yeah, I might go for Bob Sanders. He's going to be in the second round. We'll certainly have a position to get him. We're not going to go for a quarterback. We're not going to go for. What do we need? We need wide receiver. We need offensive tackle. And then we need like safety, which we're hopefully going to be able to grab Bob Sanders. We possibly need an outside linebacker if we want to replace Junior Seau. I don't know. We're in kind of a weird spot where we're good, but we're not great. So I don't really know where to put my scouting at. I'll probably do Carlos Dansby as well. I think I've taken him before. Vince Wilfork would be a good first round pick, but he's probably going to be gone by the time our pick comes up. And then we could use a tackle. I certainly could use a tackle. But I don't think there's any tackles here that are going to be worth grabbing. Because Gallery's going to be gone. And then we get to wide receiver. I did just sign Plaxico. So it's not like we need a wide receiver at the top of the draft, but I'll put Lee Evans. I'll scout him and see if he's going to be any good. Who knows? I have absolutely no idea where to go with this draft. It's such a weird position to be in because we're teetering on being good, but the roster I don't think is good yet. So it's weird. I'm in a weird spot. I haven't really been in this kind of situation in a while at least. So Sean Taylor's going to go 2 overall, then Larry, Roy Williams. So Vince is top 10, which I kind of expected. Lee Evans is top 15. Michael Jenkins would be cool. Jonathan Vilma. So we're even higher than 20. We're 24. Interesting. That's a really weird spot to be in. It does give us a chance to get Chris Gamble, which I do like. I'm a big Chris Gamble guy. Or we could trade up and get Jonathan Vilma. But we don't really need Jonathan Vilma. Do we stay at 24? I think we should. I am going to spend my staff points just in case I decide to do something. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. Depending on who's available. But I'll just spend them since I have them here. Might as well get everything bought up. Do we stay at 24 or do we move around? I think I might take Chris Gamble with our first round pick and then get Bob Sanders with the second round pick if he's available, which he should be. I hope he is at least. Although I might have to make a trade up to get him. Oh, that's pretty tricky. I don't really know. Let's go to the draft and find out what happens. All right, first overall pick, Cardinals take Eli Manning. Sim to our pick. Sean Taylor goes 2, Roethlisberger, Fitzgerald, Phillip Rivers. So Phillip Rivers in the whatever rebuild we just did before the Bronco rebuild. I think it was the Jaguars. We got Philip Rivers in like the second or third round or something, and he goes 5 here. That's kind of crazy. Okay, so who got taken as well? Lee Evans goes to the Raiders at 11. All right, I think we still got it. I don't see Chris Gamble up there, so we still have an opportunity to get Chris Gamble. We could get Jonathan Vilma. Jason Babin would be fun. Where is Bob Sanders? There's Dansby down there. Bob Sanders is round 2 to 3, right? I think so. He's not even on this board. Interesting. Bob Sanders is round 2 to 3. We gotta hope that he's available when we come back up in the second round. Chris Gamble's gonna be my guy. 4.5 speed is disrespectful for Chris Gamble. He was a lot faster than that. He's number 32 in true value. He's got normal dev. I guess that's considered a little bit of a miss. Please do not grab Bob Sanders. Maybe I should have just taken Bob Sanders with this pick. I probably should have got Jonathan Vilma now that I think about it. But I wanted Chris Gamble. Jason Babin goes. Oh. I have a bad feeling that we're going to lose out on Bob Sanders here. Courtney Watson. JP Lossman. I think I got to trade up. I don't want to risk it. I know I could probably go a little bit further. I could probably go a little bit further without having to worry. But you never know. I think we might try to trade up here. Let me go put a trade package together, see what happens. I think that's going to be the best option. So let me go put a package together. I'll be back when I have something. Okay, so I was able to trade up to pick number 48 from where we were at, which is, I think, in the 50s. I'm pretty sure. And I did that so that it would make it easier and I wouldn't have to trade so much more valuable draft picks to the 49ers, which is where I want to trade up to draft Bob Sanders. So pick 48 plus a couple of fives, or a 5 and a 6, should be able to land us 48. I guess we'll find out. And it does. Okay, beautiful. So now we're on the clock, and I probably could have let this go a little bit longer, because as you can see, he's not at the top of anybody's list right now, but you never know. He might get grabbed. We know he has top 5 true talent, and I don't know the last time I took Bob Sanders in one of these videos, so might as well get him. He's just a freak. I mean, look at these numbers. Look at these athletic numbers for Bob Sanders. He's an absolute monster. We needed a free safety, and we got that in Big Bob. So I probably could have let it go, maybe another 3 or 4 picks, but I just took him now. Make it easier. Make it a little bit easier. I did see Jared Allen got taken, but that's not a big deal. We have Robert Mathis and Marcellus Wiley, so we're not in desperate need of a defensive end. We could use another... I mean, we could always use another wide receiver, so this might be a time where we grab ourselves Jericho Kadri, just because we've seen him develop fairly well in different rebuilds. Maybe he can do well in this one. I don't know. This is probably going to be my final pick, though, here in the 4th round. Mainly because I don't really know what other direction to go in. We kind of have... At this point, we kind of have pretty good depth everywhere. I guess offensive line's probably the last piece that we need to completely figure out, but there's not anybody here in the 4th round that I'm going to go after. Nobody here at outside linebacker, nobody at middle, nobody at right. I don't really know where to go. I guess I could maybe take a D tackle. I think Chad Lavalaeus is here. Yeah, let's take Chad. He's not going to be great, but he's a pick that I have a little bit of a history with since he's on our All-American Dynasty in College Football 25. He's on that team, so we got a little bit of a connection with Chad. He's not going to ever play for us, but at least we know him. Okay, let's get to recap and then see what this team looks like. So, draft recap. We still have over 100 million in cap room, so we're sitting pretty good there. We took Chris Gamble. We got Bob Sanders, Jericho Cotchery. They took a bunch of jabronis in the rest of the picks. The 04 draft, obviously, Fitzgerald's the best player. Then it kind of falls off a big cliff there, 83 to 76. But we got one of the top players in the class in Bob, and we needed a free safety to pair alongside Rodney Harrison, which who knows what we're going to do with Rodney. Maybe he's the guy. I mean, the way that we've been winning games, maybe he's just the strong safety that we have when we win a championship. I have no idea. But this is what the team looks like. Headed into year number, what is this, year number 3? We added Plaxico in free agency. We have Jericho Cotchery, and I kind of want to move him up a little bit, but the auto generate lineup is going to move him back down, so I'll move him up a little bit. We have Tomlinson, who's a true 99. Brees is an 84, playing up to an 85. The defense is what I'm proud of. The defense is actually coming together pretty well. We do need an official D tackle. Other than that, the corners are looking pretty solid. Linebackers are growing. Safeties, I mean, if we won 13 games with the team that we had before that draft in free agency, how many games are we going to win this year? I have absolutely no idea. This is the year 3 sim. I'm hoping Drew Brees reaches a 90 overall. I'm assuming he will if we're playing good. So let's find out. Let's simulate the season. I'm going to load in the '05 draft class, and we will be back with the results and hopefully another playoff appearance. The year is finished, and it's not 13 wins, but it is 10 wins and a playoff appearance. We are in the wild card once again. I don't know how this team continues to win double digit games with the roster that they have. I mean, these numbers are nowhere near what he put up last year. Drew Brees, he had like 40 touchdowns last year. Now he goes out to 25. Not quite sure why the fluctuation in Drew Brees' touchdown interception numbers. LaDainian Tomlinson, I don't know if we win half the games that we've won in this rebuild so far through the first few years if we don't have LT on the team. I mean, 1,300 yards and 20 touchdowns. He's literally winning us football games by himself. I guarantee that's how we've won most of our games. Antonio Gates leads the team in yards, but not touchdowns. Plaxico Burress had 11 of those things. So a few guys had 800 yards, but nobody goes crazy this year. Defensively, Donnie Edwards. I don't know who Donnie Edwards is, but he's killing tackles. EJ Henderson at 87. Bly, Junior Seau. I have a feeling Junior Seau is going to start to hit heavy regression and not even and maybe just retire. Like who knows what's going to happen. Same kind of deal with Rodney Harrison. Wiley had 18 tackles for loss. Junior Seau at 12. Sack leader was Junior Seau with 11 and a half. 11 for Lieber, 10 for Wiley and Mathis. That's good to see from Robert Mathis. And then 5 interceptions for Mike McKenzie. That's why we signed him in free agency. 4 for Quentin Jammer, 2 for Edwards and Henderson. Okay, Bob Sanders had an interception as a rookie. Nice. But we take on the Miami Dolphins here. Are we going to have the same fate that we had the first time we made the playoffs? No, 45-0. What is happening in this rebuild? This is absolutely crazy. 45-0. Our defense just shut out the Dolphins, who made the playoffs as well. Insanity. We take on the Bills, who are also just so happen to be 10-7. And we beat them as well. Why is this team winning games? I don't understand it. I legit don't understand this team. Maybe the Charger playbook is just absolutely mega goated. Like, I don't know. We're going to jump into this AFC Championship because we jump into the AFC, NFC Championships, and then the Super Bowls, obviously, in these rebuilds. But I don't think we can win this game, but I didn't think we could win the first two, and we've won them. So who knows? Maybe we're going to be Super Bowl bound. Let's find out. On the field here in Lucas Oil for an AFC Championship matchup against the aging Indianapolis Colts. This is, 3 years into the rebuild, so Manning's getting a little bit older. Edgerrin James is getting older. Marvin Harrison Sr.'s older. You never know what could happen. We are down 13-7 here, so they missed their extra point. Maybe they went for 2 and didn't get it. I'm not sure what happened, but I just want to jump in because I want to use LaDainian Tomlinson. Drew Brees on the field. Looks super weird in these updated current day Charger uniforms, but LaDainian Tomlinson, and that's a holding call? You got to be kidding me. That's the most late holding call you could ever have. Unbelievable. Oh, I almost was on the ground already. The play was almost over before you call the holding. All right, 1st and 19 now. Drew Brees just looks so small back there. It looks funny. Another handoff to LT because I want to use him, but we got a holding call. He's 7 carries for 28 yards, so we're not running the football as effectively as we need to. That's probably how we won all our games, like I mentioned. Caldwell, is he going to be open? There's no way he's actually open. He actually might have been, and I looked him off. But Plaxico makes a big catch there. Makes it a very much more manageable 3rd down. I probably should have stuck with Caldwell. I think I could have fit that on the sideline for a really big catch, maybe even a 1st down. Who knows? But it's 3rd and 7. I'm going to hit Plaxico again. Plaxico, LaDainian Thompson was wide open in the end zone. I didn't even realize that. But Plaxico gets in the end zone anyway. So it's a touchdown. We take the lead 14-13. and they get the ball back too. It's a third down alert. We have a chance to end this game by a single point, which is insane. I'm going to hit Antonio Gates if he gets open here. Antonio Gates, sit down on it. He's not dropping that, baby. He's not dropping that. And they're going to let me jump in here to end this game, to ice it out. I'm not going to snap this, though. We are not going to give the Indianapolis Colts any chance to have 4 timeouts. So we're going to snap this after the 2-minute warning to start using all their timeouts. We are in field goal range, which will make it a 4-point game, which means they'd have to score a touchdown, obviously, to take the lead. A field goal does nothing for them. But I don't want to even have them with the ball again. I want to end this game 14-13. Let's see if we can do it. LaDainian Tomlinson on the field. Drew Brees handing him the football. 2 minutes to go. There it is. LT. He's breaking tackles. He's breaking off of his own lineman. He's got huge gain to the 23. 2nd and 2. First timeout called by the Horses. 2nd and 2. Handoff to LT. Man, I need LT in all of my dynasties and franchises. He's super good. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this rebuild anyway, was to have LT on the team. Because it's almost impossible to trade for him in another rebuild with another team unless you give up somebody else of his quality, which obviously you wouldn't want to do. But LT takes it to the 1-yard line. They use their final timeout. I know this is probably not the right thing to do, which is to score, but I'm going to score. It doesn't really matter, does it? We're going to win the game regardless. 21-13. Colts have the ball. We have the ball. No, wait. No, they have the ball. Okay, now we have the ball again. I thought it gave it back to us really quickly. We are playing in the Super Bowl. How are we playing in the Super Bowl? This team is not that good. I don't understand it, man. This team is not that good, and yet we are winning games in the playoffs. I've had much better teams than this get bounced in the first round. We've seen it. Or bounce in the second round, or not even make the playoffs. I've had unbelievable teams not make the playoffs for just bad luck in simulation. But here we are, playing in a Super Bowl in the 3rd year of the rebuild, with still a ton of cap room to work with. Drew Brees' contract is probably coming up very soon, if I had to guess. It looks like Michael Vick won the MVP of the league. That's another rebuild I want to take on the Falcons, because Michael Vick goes crazy in these simulations. He does unbelievable numbers. It's going to be the Chargers versus the Panthers in the Super Bowl. What a gross Super Bowl. But here we are. It is go time. Are we going to win? Maybe. I don't know. Some way, somehow, we are here in the Super Bowl against the Carolina Panthers. I don't honestly know how it's happening. I really don't. We are in the Super Bowl, trying to win it. Second half action is underway. It's 7-0. I'm going to jump in here. It's 1st and goal from the 6. I chose alternate uniforms for this game instead of the ones we wore in the AFC Championship. But when I was going through the jersey combinations for the Chargers, they don't have a jersey for the era that LaDainian Tomlinson is in, like the middle, early 2000s, which I thought was really strange. Like, he's in all your Ultimate Team stuff, and EA Sports doesn't have a jersey from that era. I feel like it was kind of weird. Like, the jersey that I'm talking about is like the dark blue helmet. The only dark blue helmet they have in the game is from like 1970. Their jersey from that era, which I thought was really strange, as LT pounces in the end zone for a 2-score lead over the Carolina Panthers here. I still don't know how this is happening. We have allowed 0 points. We shut out the Dolphins. Are we going to shut out the Panthers? We shut out the Carolina. What is this team? We just won the Super Bowl in 3 years. How? This was the weirdest rebuild I've ever done. We're going to go one more season to try to defend our newly won championship. I honestly don't know. I don't know how this has happened. I've had like I mentioned earlier, I've had teams that have been 10 times better than this not get anywhere near the playoffs, let alone a Super Bowl. And yet this team has won it. And I didn't simulate anything. I didn't force anything. I didn't change the playbooks. This is all LA Charger playbooks, current day LA Charger playbooks with the team that we built. and yet we've won a Super Bowl after what 3 years? I think it is 3 years of rebuilding, which just seems super weird. Super. Some teams I've taken like 4 or 5 years. I've taken 3 years to win a Super Bowl before. It's not anything normal. I'm not shocked at the lack of time it took. I'm shocked that this is the team that did it in the lack of time. Like I've had teams that have won Super Bowls in 3 years or 2 years even. Uh, but those are starting like the base roster you start with is a lot better than the starting roster that we had with the Chargers here. So I don't know, man. Goes to show you that Madden simulation is a fickle mistress. That is for sure. You can have the greatest team of all time and win 5 games, or you can have a team like this, which is not bad by any means. I'm not saying this team's god awful by any means. I'm just saying I'm shocked that this is the team, this iteration of the team is the one that won the championship. LaDainian Tomlinson wins the MVP because he put up at least one of the touchdowns. I don't know if he put up the other one. He probably did. Michael Vick gets MVP of the league. Terrell Owens and Julius Peppers are players of the year. Ben Roethlisberger and Tommy Harris are your rookies of the year. All right, we will go one more year and see if we can go back to back. I highly doubt it, but whatever. Who knows? So we've got some dev trade upgrades for actually nobody. I thought Drew Brees was going to go up. He doesn't go up. He didn't have that great of a year, to be fair. And then we've got defense. Junior Seau is now an X Factor. Bob Sanders revealed to have superstar. Lieber is a superstar. So is Marcellus Wiley. So defense is how we're winning games. Defense and LaDainian Tomlinson are how we're winning football games. I mean, we're an 84 overall. How did we win the Super Bowl? I'm still shocked. This is going to go down as one of the craziest rebuild videos in channel history because it makes no sense. It makes no sense how we've done what we've done. LT needs a new contract. Thank God we have the money to pay him because I would have had a panic attack if we didn't. We are going to pay him so much more over value because he's LaDainian Tomlinson. He's 26 and he's a true 99 overall and he just won Super Bowl MVP. He's going to come back. But I also saw, Drew Brees, and he needs $267 million. Well, Drew, we're going to put you on the same timeline as LaDainian Tomlinson, but we're going to pay you so much more money than LaDainian Tomlinson. If I was a crazy man, I would not re-sign Drew Brees and then start over with a new rebuild as T. Martin. But I'm not a crazy man. I'm going to re-sign Drew Brees, and he's going to come back. Thank God we had so much money because I don't know what I would have done. Kelvin Garmin will be back as well. He wants to be here, so we don't have to pay him as much as the other guys, obviously. And he's not that good. That's kind of crazy that LT and Brees both came up for contracts at the same time. Junior Seau will come back. It's only going to go one more year, so it's not the end of the world having him on a expensive contract, especially when we have the money. So he's going to be back. And I saw one more guy that I kind of wanted to bring back. Donnie Edwards. I mean, Donnie's been one of our better players. We got to get Wayne Gandy back. Donnie Edwards has been one of our better tacklers on defense the entire rebuild. He's led the team like 2 out of the 3, I think, or maybe 1 out of the I don't remember. Who cares? He's coming back. He might not be the starter, but he's definitely going to be back on a new contract, and he is back. So after all of that, we signed Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson. That's like over $300 million. We still have $58 million to play with in free agency. The Chargers are busted with cap room. That is for sure. And these playbooks, we might have found new secret goated playbooks with the Chargers. Kevin Mawe. Everybody wants to be here. Well, at least offensive linemen do. Except for Kevin Mawe. I think I might go after him. We might try to just entice him with money. That way we can just load up on great players for one final run to see if we can go back to back. We'll hopefully accept that. Kenyatta Walker. I'll go after Kenyatta as well. We'll load up on ton of high overall players. See what can happen. So we're in 4th right now for Kenyatta Walker. We might not even get him. Zach Thomas, Santana Moss. Let's see. This free agency is just not full of high overall players. Although there is Corey Simon, D tackle. We do need a D tackle. I might draft one still, but I might pay Corey Simon a little bit of cheddar. And that's going to be all the money we have available. So 3 players we're going after. Are we going to get any of them? We get 2. So we don't get Kenyatta Walker, but we do get Kevin Mawe and Corey Simon. I'm okay with that. That leaves us with a little bit of wiggle room with 20 million. We can move Ball over to a different position as well. He's an 82 center, but now we have Kevin Mawe, so we might need to move Ball to right guard. Let's just switch him to a right guard. He should be able to start over Garmin, and then the offensive line will be finished. So, boom, there we go. Okay, so offensive line's done, I guess. We have an 84 or 83, I guess, at left tackle. Maybe we'll draft one. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The wide receiver room is what's killing me because we don't really have a good wide receiver. We have Plaxico, but he's not that good. Corey Simon goes into D tackle. This is such a weird team, but we're the defending Super Bowl champions, and we are going to the 2005 NFL Draft now, which obviously is very, very good for some certain players. Hopefully, positions that we need. But we got to take a look at that mock draft. We got to take a look at where we are projected to, who we're projected to take, and all kinds of stuff. But private workouts first. What do we got? Braylon Edwards, I did scout. So did I scouted Roddy White as well, just because I mean we need a wide receiver, don't we? Um, Derek Johnson could be a good one. Absolutely. We've seen how dominant Demarcus Ware can be in these. There's lights out Sean Merriman. I'll scout him just for the fun of it because he is a Charger or was a Charger in real life. And then we've got probably Vincent Jackson. I mean, we got to come away with at least one wide receiver in this class. So we might as well scout as many as we want. And now let's go to the draft. We're obviously picking at 32. We know that. But who do they have us mock to take? And what does the board look like? So Braylon Edwards is going to go 2 to the Bengals. There's going to come a time where I draft Braylon Edwards in one of these. I don't know when it's going to be, but it'll be here. It'll happen. Roddy White's going 4. So that's already 2 wide receivers off the table. Derek Johnson, Mike Williams, Sean Merriman's going 17. Vincent Jackson's 23. Really? Uh, they have us taking left tackle Marcus Johnson. He looks like he's got good grades, but I might have to trade up to get Vincent Jackson. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I want an actual like big time good wide receiver. So maybe we trade up to get him. So we trade from 32 going to hopefully 30. That should be a little bit easier. Who is the Vincent Jackson pick? I don't remember now. We might just trade from 32 to whatever pick it is. I think it's like what is it? 20 Is it 24? What is it? It's 23. 23 with the Saints. So 32 to 23. I guess I won't go through the juice method of trading one by one. I'll go normally or naturally, I guess. We'll just trade 32 straight to the Saints. What do you got for me? You got 23. So where does this leave us right away? Already in the yellow, so we're not going to have to give up that much. And since we're not going any further than just next year or this year, we don't have to care about these draft picks. That's already in the green. Wow, we're not really going to have to give up much. That's kind of awesome. Boom, look at that. I didn't have to give up an extra first round pick. So a second round pick from a couple years from now that literally doesn't matter because we're not going to be drafting in that year gets us hopefully Vincent Jackson. We'll find out. Number 1 pick goes to the Ravens. They take Alex Smith, so they got their guy. And we will simulate to our pick. It looks like he didn't go. Perfect. I was reading the board there for a second. Aaron Rodgers is in Jacksonville now. Good for him. But we will take Vincent Jackson. I got to get myself a receiver. So boom. Vincent Jackson, welcome aboard. And now I have no idea what we do. Maybe best player available? I probably won't even go to the 3rd round myself. I'll probably just let the CPU handle the rest of this because I don't know what we're going to do. We could use a D tackle and we could use a offensive tackle. Ronald Fields is available. He's a round 2 to 3 guy. David Stewart. Let's take David Stewart. I know from experience in these rebuilds that David Stewart tends to develop fairly well. So maybe he's going to be a guy for us later on. Who knows? We'll move on to round 3. And I did see one more guy that I wanted to take. It was that D tackle guy. So let's just grab him. Let's take Jay Ratliff here. We need a D tackle other than Corey Simon. So Jay Ratliff is a new addition, and those are going to be the three picks that I make. We can let the CPU handle the rest because these guys will not play unless they're unbelievably high rated, which I don't think they are. What a weird rebuild this has been, though. What a strange one. What just a strange rebuild. All right, so what do we got here? We got 71 for Vincent Jackson, 68 for David Stewart, Ratliff's a 70, and then they took a couple jabronis. Best player in the class was Logan Mankins an 80, then DeMarcus Ware. We've come away with both these guys multiple different times. Never had Aaron Rodgers in one of these, I don't think. Maybe that'll happen down the line. I don't know. It's kind of hard to do that because at this point, you should already have your quarterback figured out. Either you trade for one or you draft one earlier, like we've done in the past with Carson Palmer or with like Phillip Rivers or Ben Roethlisberger. Like you don't wait this long to get a quarterback like Rodgers, but maybe there's one time we will. I don't know. So this is what the team is going to look like headed into the final year. It's very strange. I mean, we won the Super Bowl last year. I doubt we go back to back, mainly because Madden just doesn't like me, and they don't usually let me go back to back. It's very rare. It has happened before, but it's very rare that we go back to back. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to simulate this year, and then I'll bring you guys back in with the results. We wrap up the final year of this rebuild, and we made the playoffs again. We won one more game than we did last year, where we won the Super Bowl. So we won 11 games this year. LaDainian Tomlinson is second in the league in rushing. I mean, it's just got to be down to LaDainian Tomlinson killing the game. That's really what it's got to be down to. Why we've won so many games, because Brees had one anomaly where he had 40 touchdowns. Other than that, he's been around 20. 29. He's been around that number the entire rest of the time. This is such a strange rebuild. I don't know what to think of it. If we didn't have LaDainian Tomlinson, we probably are not as good as we've been. This Charger playbook with the combination of LaDainian Tomlinson is just disgusting. These are absolutely gross numbers for LT. The rest of, I mean, the receiving, we don't have a great receiver. I mean, Antonio Gates is a great receiver, but he's a tight end. We don't have an actual like fantastic wide receiver, which is just absolutely wild. And we're winning all these games. I mean, it's not all these. We won 11 games. That's not a lot. 115 tackles from the veteran Junior Seau. He still got a little bit of gas in the tank. EJ Henderson had 100. Bob Sanders with 74. Mathis had 67. Mathis also had 14 tackles for loss and 15 and a half sacks. He had a disgusting season. Junior Seau 13, 12 for Wiley and Simon. Sack leader was Robert Mathis 15 and a half. Leber had 13. Wiley had 11 and a half. Interception leader McKenzie. McKenzie was a good free agent pickup. 2 picks for him. Rodney Harrison, 2 picks as well. Weird. Really weird season and stats and just overall rebuild. Are we going to get bumped in the first round? That's typical Madden. No. They actually gave me a win for once. Wow. That's rare. Usually when we do these last season to try to like defend our championship, we get bumped in the first round or not even make the playoffs. But maybe they're just delaying it to give me a little bit of false hope. Yep, there it is. That's classic Madden. That's classic Madden. They gave me a little bit of false hope thinking I was going to go back-to-back champions. But nope, we lose to the Cleveland Browns in the divisional round. And hey, we got our rebuild. We got our rebuild complete. We got our championship. I'll take it. I don't know how we got it. One of the most confusing championships I've ever been a part of. But it is a championship. And the Browns are playing in the Super Bowl. If they win, oh my God, if they win this championship, I'm going to flip out. Okay, the Eagles beat the Browns. I was going to say, that would have just been the icing on top of the most strange cake you've ever seen. Let's take one final look at the roster right after we quickly glance at the season recap. Donovan McNabb is the Super Bowl MVP and league MVP. Marvin Harrison Sr. and Julius Peppers, I think that's 3 straight for Julius Peppers, are the players of the year. Roddy White and Justin Tuck are your rookies of the year. Let's take one final look at this roster because it was just such a wild ride, man. It was a wild ride. So Drew Brees doesn't go up to superstar dev. I mean, it's understandable with the numbers he's putting up in simulation, but still strange. Very strange. Offensive line is really weird. This dude turned out to be a beast. He was a rookie when we started, and now he's a 91 overall, playing up to a 92 with superstar dev. He's a freak. LT is a true 99. Brees is going to be there eventually. Antonio Gates is up to a 92, playing up to a 94 with X Factor. Antonio Gates is like what, a 60 something overall when he drafted him, and then Vincent Jackson revealed to have superstar, so he's going to be a beast whenever he develops. Such a weird offense. Weird, weird, weird. And then on defense, we lose Junior Seau, so he leads the team in tackles for one final year, and then he retires. So we would need to absolutely help out this linebacking core. It's shockingly bad at this point now with the loss of Junior Seau, but we would have known to do that anyway before Junior retired. Rodney Harrison's super bad at this point, so we're gonna have to replace him if we were to move on. Jay Ratliff has superstar. Gotta lock that in the memory banks. That's good to know. Marcellus Wiley, Robert Mathis, Quentin Jammer, all good players. Bob Sanders was a big pickup. Just a weird overall, like there's nobody this looking at both of these, you wouldn't think this team would win a championship just yet. Looking at both the offense and defense, but we did. We won a championship and we've rebuilt the Chargers. We kept Drew Brees around and we got him a ring earlier than he did in real life. So, and we got LaDainian Thomas a ring and Antonio Gates a ring, which are two guys that I loved when I was a kid. So, they now have championships. So, congrats. And Junior Seau's got a championship again. So, congratulations, all those guys, and congratulations to me on making the wildest rebuild I've ever had. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club, like I said in the intro. If you have any suggestions for other rebuilds or specific players or specific teams, challenges, whatever you want to see me do in the future, let me know down below in the comments, and I will take them on in a future video. Thank you so much for stopping by and watch. I truly appreciate it. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.